What's up, guys? Today we're taking a look at this knife. This is the ZT0909. There you go. Les George design, made by Zero Tolerance collaboration, and it's pretty cool. It's a standard ZT. It's a little bit of an older model. You can tell that by this old nut they used on the pivots. They don't really use those anymore, but it's a nice knife. It's a nice drop point blade. You got this G10 handles, simple black G10 over these steel liners, and it's pretty sweet. Nice flipper. Very simple knife. Very simple. Not too much going on here. It has runs on bearings. You can see here it's pretty thick, like ZTs usually are. Nice flipper tab. Nice detent. You can see here it comes up, and the flipper tab is kind of like a square. Also, very similar to another Les George design, the 0920. You can see there the resemblance. You see a little bit in the blade there too. It has this little jimping that comes out the top. He has that on a lot of his designs. A lot of Les George designs are like that. So this is the 0920, 0909. Here you go. You can see 0909 Les George design, USA, Kai USA. This has S35VN steel, which ZT doesn't use as much as their 20 CV. A lot of their knives they like to put CBM 20 CV steel on, but some of their cheaper knives they put S35VN on, and I think it's awesome. I love that steel. This is a little bit of an older knife, very comfortable in the hand, and if you have all my four fingers fit right between these two spaces right here, right there, it just fits right in there. Super locked in, not much room to move around. You're really just stuck in one position, but that one position is very comfortable. And fist grip feels great. Nice jimping up here for your thumb, and it looks sweet. I like this finish that they do on the blade. It's kind of like the stone washed. I don't know. It looks nice. Let's see if I can clean it off a little bit. There you go. A little bit of a reflective finish, but it looks good. Yeah, it's a little bit chunky boy. It's a little bit thick, like ZTs used to be. Good knife, good user. This used to be a cheap knife. When they first came out, they were like less than $200. They were like $160, I think, or something. They were pretty cheap, but they've gone up in price now because this model is discontinued and harder to find at this point. So definitely, you should get one if you don't have one. If you've been looking for this model, you should get one sooner than later because they're just going to go up in price because they're not around as much anymore. It's got these cool cutouts on the top and bottom of the scale, which is kind of cool. Makes for a nice grip in the hand. And this one has an aftermarket pocket clip. It usually comes with a different clip, a different ZT clip, but the person who owned this before me put this deep carry clip on there, which is kind of cool. Yep, and perfectly centered, as ZTs usually are. Flipping action is okay. The detent isn't super strong. It's kind of like a medium detent. You could definitely fail it, as you can see, but it's all right if you get used to it. It's kind of like a push button almost than a flipper, like a light switch action. It's more like a push button than a light switch, but it works pretty well. And then it's got the jimping up here, and on the bottom on the flipper tab as well, it has jimping, you can see here. So definitely get a nice purchase on that. Pretty cool. You can reverse the pocket clip, which is kind of nice, and it has good lock. It has this lock bar access is pretty nice because they carved it out here, so you can push over the lock bar nicely, get to disengage it pretty well. And on the back, it does not have a back spacer. It's got these two barrel spacers, standoffs. They look nice. It's got a lanyard hole if you're interested in that. Very simple design, very plain, not fancy. This is a really good user knife. If you ever get one of these and plan to use it, you're gonna like it because it works really well, and it slices alright too. And definitely a nice sharp edge. I touched up the edge when I got it because it wasn't super sharp, but it's good now. So yeah, it's sweet. Let's do some size comparisons against some other knives. Let's compare it up against some ZT knives. We got the 0223 There we go. And the 0308, two of my favorite of all time ZTs in my collection. There you go. See there? So definitely full-size ZT. Not quite as long as these two, but just a little bit shorter. And then we'll also compare it against the other Les George ZT design that I have, the 0920. You can see the 0920 is larger than that, or longer than the 0909 here. You see it's definitely longer. And that's mostly why I'm selling this one, is because I prefer the 0920. So, yep. This one's the one I'm going to keep. Let's also compare it against some smaller knives. Bench-Raid Bug-Out. There you go. And the QSP Penguin. It's definitely bigger, wider, chunkier than both of those. And compare it against Spyderco PM2. Some other USA made knives as well. Let's go right with the PM2 and the Bench-Made full-size Adamas. So you can see here it's a little bit smaller than the full-size Adamas. Almost about the same size. Well, yeah, a little bit shorter. And then it's about the size of a PM2, as you can see there. So that's pretty nice. And as you know, all zero tolerance knives are made in the USA. So this is a USA made knife. And it's sweet. It's good. It's a good knife. Works really well. Nothing wrong with it. It's just a pretty simple design. Works well in the hand. I've cut things with it. It works great. Nothing wrong at all. Detent's fine. Haven't found any major issues with it. It's just kind of a mediocre ZT design. I really like it. I think it looks great, but it's not like super special in any way. But it's definitely a really cool knife, though. I definitely like it. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's completely solid too. There's absolutely no movement whatsoever, up, down, left, right at all. Completely solid whole time I've had it. And haven't had to adjust it at all. That's kind of the way zero tolerance knives are. And let's get a weight out of this knife. Compare it to, here we go. Compare it to some other ones too. Here we go. 7 ounces. So yeah, definitely chunky. You can see the liners. The liners aren't milled out at all. I mean, that's a relief cut for the lock. But other than that, they're not milled out. It's just solid all the way through. Which is kind of interesting that they chose to do that. Makes it stronger and heavier. As you can tell, it's a heavier knife. Hold on. Okay, 6.9 ounces, I guess. Compared that to, of course, a Bug-Out, which is 1.9 ounces, or an 0223, which is 4.7 ounces. So it's definitely heavier than other ZTs. This one has an aftermarket scale, but still, it's a little bit less than that one, but yeah, it's a little bit heavier, the ZT, but pretty standard for zero tolerance knives anyway. So that is the zero tolerance Les George 0909. Definitely a cool one. If y'all get the chance to check this out, you definitely should. It's a good one. If you don't like the design, then there's zero tolerance has many other ones that you might like, but I think it looks nice. It's a good knife. And that's about it. Thank y'all for watching. Like this video, and please subscribe.